Hey everybody, I am here. We are just about to get things started. If you have any questions about the forecast, of course, as always, leave them in the comment section and I will get to them for sure during this streaming show. Okay. Okay, so hello on this Monday, Monday edition of 19 at noon. It is July 22nd, and we, of course, have already had some rain this morning. First of all, I just want to start by saying they're doing construction like literally on the other side of this wall, and at times it's been really loud, so I'm sure that it will get picked up over the microphone. I apologize, but we have so many hours of news that right now we're off the air, and so it's the best time for them to do some work. So it might impact this streaming show, but hopefully not too much. So just wanted to start by saying that in case you hear some loud noises, that's what it is. But anyways, yes. Okay, let's talk about the forecast. So we have had some rain already today. We'll talk about how much rain we've already seen. I still think it's much needed rain because when we've seen the rain lately, it's been pretty spotty, or even if it's steady, it's been light. So we actually got a decent amount of rain today, and it was early this morning, so not much of an impact to too many outdoor plans. Definitely impacted the morning drive, but overall, it's been good that we got this rain. And we'll talk more about what we expect additional as far as rainfall for the rest of this week. But outside right now, it's actually quite nice. We're seeing a few of those fair weather clouds, but overall, very pleasant conditions compared to the way that we started the day. Pretty much the rain from this morning has exited the viewing area, maybe a lingering sprinkle or two, but for the most part, we have dried out. So that's a welcome trend, I think, if you have those outdoor plans, or maybe you're trying to cut the grass later today once it dries out some. I think that's all possible. Off to the west, we are seeing more clear skies. So by this afternoon, we'll see those temperatures warm up, and definitely going to be a pretty nice afternoon, I think, all things considered. Now, rainfall totals varied a bit across the area. So you see there in Harrison, we got more than 3/4 of an inch of rain from the local airports. That's the highest total we have. CVG, more than 1/3 of an inch. Lunkin, less than 1/10 of an inch. So again, just kind of dependent upon your location. Wilmington, almost 1/2 of an inch of rain, and Hamilton, about 1/3 of an inch as well. So yes, much needed rain. For some of us, of course, we're still included in that abnormally dry from the drought monitor. And this was updated on Thursday. So it gets updated once a week. So this Thursday we'll have a new update. But I think it's going to improve. Even though, again, the ground's still a little crunchy, still definitely need some of that rain. So we're going to look at several different models. Let's dive into this. This is the high resolution rapid refresh model, and this is updated every hour with the latest information. Not only does it dry us out, but it clears us out for a period of time this afternoon, even eliminating some of those fair weather clouds. We'll see if that really happens, but either way, definitely dry for the next several hours. I think our next chance for rain will not come in until possibly this evening. You see around 8 p.m. the model brings in a few showers or thunderstorms. We're mainly dry Tuesday, but again, a chance for an isolated thunderstorm Tuesday afternoon. All of that kind of pushes off to the east, and then on Wednesday, another kind of similar situation. So this week you're going to notice the pattern kind of stays the same. Yeah, I know, I agree, Robert. I was actually just thinking, like, on my days off, should I take my car to get like an actual car wash instead of a Mother Nature car wash? I'm still debating. Temperatures right now in the 70s, 75 at CVG, 78 at Lunkin, 75 in Hamilton, 73 in Lebanon. With that sunshine emerging this afternoon, I do think we make it into the 80s, but it's still going to be cooler than normal. Normal high is about 86 degrees, and I don't think we make it there. Another thing to point out, of course, is the humidity. The air is still pretty thick. This morning when I stepped outside, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. Maybe I should open up the windows, but I hate that damp feeling. It like clings to your towels and even like the rugs and stuff in your house when you still have the humidity in the air. So while the temperature is nice, the humidity is still there. So yeah, there's still a lot of moisture hanging in the air. Dew points right now in the 60s and 70s, 68 at Lunkin, 70 in Middletown, Lebanon and Batesville, of course, taking the cake there for the highest dew point, I should say, for the most moisture in the air, and not unusual for those locations because of vegetation for the most part. And then elsewhere, dew points still in the 60s. Now, those will the humidity levels will remain pretty similar this week, getting a little more humid the next couple of days, so feeling that more summer-like feeling in the air. Right now at CVG, 75 degrees, as I mentioned, light winds, dew point there, not bad, 65 degrees. and now the sun is setting before 9 p.m. So definitely a sign that summer is starting to wind down. Now, not necessarily astronomically, we're about a month into summer, but I mean, people are talking about back to school and winding down some of those summer vacations and those types of things. So I don't know, I hate to wish it away, but that's kind of what's happening. 24-hour temperature change, not significant, but we are a little bit cooler in some locations. A lot of that, again, just because of the rain has cooled us off a little bit. Not very windy. As I mentioned, light winds. I don't think we have any gusts around the area, so, not seeing anything significant there as far as the winds, so not really moving the air around. It's going to feel humid today. There's no doubt about that. All right, let's look at today's forecast. Again, we do expect those temperatures will climb into the 80s this afternoon, low to mid 80s. We bring back those storm chances, but again, it's going to be pretty spotty later this afternoon. This graphic shows it returning around 5 p.m. I think it's probably closer to 7 or 8 p.m. Does not last very long. We're not going to have a lengthy period of time with any of those storm chances. Okay, let me... hi, Melvin. I did have a good weekend. It was actually my birthday yesterday, and I kind of celebrated with some friends. Kind of a low-key birthday, but I didn't mind. Last weekend we went to the Reds game. I would have gone to a Reds game if they were in town this weekend, but so we did that last weekend, so that was kind of my early birthday celebration. But it was a nice day, yes. Got to see some friends, and I'm a twin, so I called my twin brother, and we chatted for a bit. So yeah, it was nice. Yes, it was a nice day. Okay. Oh, and also, I saw Twisters. I think I'll talk about that at the end. I saw Twisters in the theater, and I saw it in IMAX, which I do recommend if anybody's going to go see it. Thank you, Angie. It was really good. Okay, let's talk more about these storm chances. So another thing, Justin's asking about the forecast Thursday. So the Foo Fighters are actually at Great American Ballpark on Thursday as well. So while the Reds aren't in town until a week from today, next Monday, they still have an event at Great American Ballpark, and we do the weather for them. So we're definitely keeping an eye on Thursday's forecast too. Okay, so scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. This is a different model than what I showed you before, but it has a very similar. The models all around for this upcoming week have been pretty consistent, which is nice. We don't always get that. Tomorrow, just an isolated storm chance. I do think that most of us stay dry. The middle of the week, Wednesday, we see the chance for storms returning Wednesday evening. You'll see that here in this next model that I'll show you. It kind of portrays that a little bit better. Today, it's just a spotty storm later in the evening, 7 or 8 p.m. Tomorrow, most of the day is dry. Now, this model tends to overdo those storm chances, but Wednesday is looking good for the first part of the day, but by Wednesday evening, we see storm chances return. And then on Thursday, we're also seeing a chance for those storms mainly around midday. It does look like those storms get out of here by 7 to 8 p.m. And then we're dry. Again, the Foo Fighters concert, of course, is later in the evening, so it should be okay. And then the weekend right now looks completely dry, which is really nice considering, that it is one of those last weekends for outdoor activities. Another big thing happening this weekend is Cincinnati Music Festival. This is an early call. So we have Foo Fighters at Great American Ballpark, and then we have Cincinnati Music Festival at Paycor Stadium. And so it's going to be, the banks are going to be rocking on Thursday. Probably a very busy place to be, I would imagine. But Thursday's highs will be in the mid 80s. That's not necessarily what it will be during those concerts, but a chance for storms on Thursday, but it's mostly midday. I think it gets out of here by Thursday evening. Friday and Saturday are picture perfect. We'll have those temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. It will be a touch warm, but I do think that it's going to be okay for those outdoor activities. Okay, let's look ahead to the 7-day forecast. Oh, another thing happening this week is training camp on Wednesday. That's the first day of training camp. Check online. We just did a story about who can go what days. I know Monday is open to the public, but this week's practices are like just season ticket holders, waitlisters, and then there was something else on it because they're open Wednesday and Friday, but it's only to certain people. But then next Monday, it's open to the public. So if you're looking to go to training camp, make sure you look that up before you head downtown. Okay, so here's the 7-day forecast. Temperatures very similar the next couple of days in the 80s Monday and Tuesday. Warmer for Wednesday and Thursday. Dry this weekend. I think Friday is dry. I know it says chance. Very small chance. I think most of the day is dry. Saturday and Sunday dry but warmer with highs in the upper 80s to near 90. So next week, well, let's go beyond the 7-day. There is no chance for severe storms this week, as of now. And not only for us, but really across most of the country, which is kind of unusual. Thank you, Londley. Okay. Yeah, no chance for, let's see, there might be a marginal threat today. Today there's a marginal threat in just a couple of small areas, not even a marginal threat tomorrow or Wednesday. And then days 4 through 8, they don't have, predictability is too low right now. Sometimes they have day 4 and 5, but they don't have anything right now. Okay, so next week, yes, it does look pretty stormy. Again, this starts next Monday, so not right now. But yeah, it's looking warmer. It looks like we end July and start August on kind of a warm note with those temperatures in the 90s and daily storm chances. But with it being this far out, likely we're even showing if there's like a 20% chance for storms, it's on there. So you take this with a grain of salt. Yes, it's going to be warm. Yes, it's going to be humid, but that's very typical for this time of year. That kind of starts the dog days of summer. So not unusual and not surprising, that's for sure. Let me go back. There was a flood advisory. Let me see if it's still in effect. This might not have flood advisory. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so I turn on advisory. It doesn't look like there is one. Let me check. I guess that expired. So yeah, so even with the rain that we saw earlier today, no problems. So that's good. Okay. Yeah, Rachel, just keep checking because it's probably a little bit too early to say at this point if there's going to be severe storms next week. We do know that this week it does not look severe. It's a little too early to really dive into those details. I was trying to see how Twisters did it. Yep, Twisters did really well in the box office. I figured they would. It says record opening marks the biggest start ever for a natural disaster pick in North America. But it says overseas it wasn't as popular. Well, that's okay. So for anybody that's seen it, and if you've seen it, let me know. But yes, I went and saw Twisters over the weekend, and I loved it. Now, the original, which they are completely different. Now, the plot is pretty similar. They're obviously chasing tornadoes. They're trying to research the tornadoes. They're trying to stop the tornadoes. And then, of course, there's a love story. All that is the same. But there's no, like, continuation of the first. I think some people thought there was a relationship. There's not. These are two different films, but similar plots. But anyways, it was very good. I think that you have to kind of separate the two. If I had to compare them, I honestly think this one was better. Love the cast in the original, but I really like this cast too. I really love the main actress whose name escapes me. And then Anthony Ramos, who is in Hamilton and has been in several big movies. He's great in it. And then the guy who plays like the Daisy Edgar-Jones. She was amazing. Yeah, Glenn Powell, I guess, is he played the kind of kooky character, the like cowboy. But then you find out, anyways, it was really good. I obviously don't want to give anything away. Yeah, it was really, really good. I actually thought scientifically it was pretty good. I mean, you would learn something, I think, if you went to it. Now, Hollywood did take some liberties, of course. We saw it in IMAX, and I highly recommend that as well. It just was really good. It's a very visual film, right? So that was nice. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and I thought the science in it was pretty mostly good. Obviously, there's parts of it that would never happen, but like when they're actually talking about the science of the tornadoes, most of it was pretty accurate. So yeah, it was really good. Okay. Yeah, I figured it would do really well. Now, when I went Saturday after like 4 or something, and the theater wasn't even probably half full. I would say it was like maybe 40% full. But apparently it did really well. I'm sure some of the other openings, Saturday afternoon, probably not the best time to go to a movie. It was a good time to be outside, but I was trying to rest up for my birthday, so I was okay with sitting in a movie theater for a couple of hours in the middle of the afternoon. But I just love that, like, I don't know, I think that people love weather in general. They find it very fascinating. Obviously, I do too. And so I love when other people do as well. This article I was reading mentions the day after tomorrow, which is extremely inaccurate. But a lot of people were fascinated in that movie too. And it did really well at the box office as well. So I said it would probably be like a doctor watching Grey's Anatomy. And like, while they get some of the medical parts correct, a large majority of those episodes are probably highly inaccurate. And that's okay, because I still find them very entertaining. Right? It is about entertainment at the end of the day. It is a Hollywood classic. Okay. Just wanted to double check. Let me see. Yeah, nothing in the Atlantic Ocean either as far as any kind of hurricane activity. There are a couple of possible storms in the Pacific, although they have very small chances, 10% chance of cyclone formation in the Pacific. So tropics not necessarily heating up, but I would suspect in the next couple of weeks we'll start to see more of those storms kind of pop up. So I'll be keeping an eye on that here on 19 at noon as well. Well, Darren, I know that it is round. Oh, the drive-ins. Oh, I didn't even think about seeing it at a drive-in. You know, my hometown, I'm from Chester, West Virginia, and they have a drive-in, and it was very close to my house. Like, we could, when it got later in the summer and the trees started to thin out, we could actually see the screen. It wasn't like a perfect view of the screen, but we could see it, but it was like shooting through the trees. It was probably like as the crow flies, maybe a half a mile to a mile from my house, but and they sold it this summer, right before the summer, like in the spring they sold it, and people were worried they weren't going to have it open in time for their season, but they actually got a new buyer that just kind of renovated it, and they were able to reopen it, which is amazing. In small towns, like the drive-in is like the place to be. As a matter of fact, like we had a movie theater in the next town over when I was growing up, but then it closed probably like maybe when I was in high school. And so the next closest movie theater was 30 to 40 minutes away. So the drive-in was like clutch. I loved going to that. That was a big part of my childhood. So yeah, I'm glad. Because of science, Darren, because like we couldn't exist if it was flat. Like the weather wouldn't happen. I mean, that's just like, that's a conspiracy that like, there are like conspiracy theories where you're like, oh, there's like a little grain of truth. No, the flat earthers, no, not even a grain of truth. I can't entertain that. But thank you for the interactivity. I know, Angie. It's like, I don't know. And it would always be nice because they would play 2 movies, and the first one would be kind of like a kid's movie, and then the second one more for adults. So if you brought your kids, you could take them home, and then, or if they fell asleep in the back of the car, that was okay, and then you could stay and watch the adult flick. It was so fun. Gosh, life was so simple back then, right? And I really do miss that. Man, I'm glad that a lot of people went and saw it. That's great. Okay, so I think that's all that I have for you. Catherine will be on at 3 and 4. I think our 3 and 4 o'clock, we have basketball on, USA basketball on Fox 19. So you can stream our newscast, or you can find it on 19.3 on some of our sub channels if you're looking for the newscast and you don't want to watch basketball. But we will be back on the air as soon as basketball wraps up around 5 o'clock. But if it goes over a little bit, it'll be a little after 5. But and then Steve will have his streaming show at 7:15 this evening. So that's all that I have for you guys. Do you think it was Thursday, 12:15? No, I think right at 12:15 there's rain in the area, but there's a better chance for rain around 2, 3, 4 o'clock. So if you can get it in quickly, you might be okay. Okay. Also, we've seen the Earth, like we've seen it from space, and it's round. It's very much round. Okay, yes, thank you guys so much. Oh, I've already got it set up. I was trying to, we have to like put up this slate at the end. I've already got it there, Ashley. You're okay today. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will be back here tomorrow for 19 at noon.